Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Friday, the 25th of October, 2024. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about, so let's get going with story number 1. The S&P ASX 200 closed up just 5 points today, or 0.06% to 8,211 points. I would call that pretty flat. There wasn't much movement among the top stocks, though there was plenty of corporate news. Qantas held its AGM in Hobart and provided an upbeat outlook domestically, though warned of more competition in international routes, hurting returns. Newmont's share price fell more than 13% after a September quarter earnings miss. Mineral Resources again fell sharply, down 5% on media reports that Managing Director Chris Ellison and other board members allegedly purchased mining equipment from the company at significant discounts to market rates. Unibail Rodamco Westfield, which owns the international Westfield malls, said earnings would be at the upper end of guidance. Rubbish collector Cleanaway affirmed its profit guidance. ResMed announced an 11% jump in revenue in the September quarter thanks to high demand for its sleep devices and masks portfolio. And Metcash fell 3.3% after flagging additional cost-cutting measures in response to weak trading in its hardware unit. That is a busy Friday. On to story number 2. Wisetech Global share price jumped by as much as 16% today following last night's announcement that founder and long-term CEO Richard White would step down. Now, Mr. White, who has been embroiled in allegations involving his personal life, will take a brief break before taking up a, quote, full-time, long-term consulting role with the company focused on product and business development. He will still be paid a $1 million annual salary and will report to the chair and board, not the CEO. So he won't be CEO, but will still have a big role in the company, and that's what investors liked, sending the share price up sharply. It closed 12.7% higher. Story number 3, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese met his British counterpart Sir Keir Starmer on the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa today. The two discussed security. They talked about trade and investment links. Mr. Albanese said Australia and the UK are long-standing partners with common values and aligned strategic interests, and the two agreed to negotiate a new climate and energy partnership which would maximise the potential of the net zero transition. CHOGM, which includes 56 Commonwealth nations, is a biennial event, and King Charles III and Queen Camilla are attending. It's being hosted in the Pacific region for the first time, highlighting the gathering's focus on climate change. On to story number 4, Queenslanders are off to the polls tomorrow, and the race between incumbent Labor's Stephen Miles and his opponent, Liberal National Party's David Crisafulli, is close. A UComs poll that's been released today has the LNP ahead of Labor on a two-party preferred basis, 51 to 49%. A news poll in The Australian has the LNP ahead 52.5 to 47.5%. Labor's been in power for 30 of the last 35 years in the Sunshine State. It's trying to win a 4th successive poll, but the LNP had been expected to win this election. It's just that fierce campaigning has now brought Labor back into the race. And finally, story number 5, Tesla's share price jumped 22% overnight. That is its biggest single-day gain in over a decade on the back of Chief Executive Elon Musk's forecast of surging sales. Now, Mr. Musk says that sales next year will be up 20 to 30%, in part because Tesla will launch an affordable vehicle in the first half of 2025. About $150 billion was added to the value of the company. Now, Tesla is not a cheap company, right? It trades at 72 times 12-month forward estimates. That means that its value is 72 times what investors think it'll make in profit over the next 12 months. Just for a comparison, though, consider this: Microsoft trades at 31 times forward earnings, and Ford, another car company, trades at just 6 times forward earnings. There you go. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 25th of October, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Join us tomorrow morning for the weekend edition of the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.